Today I got a Poljot alarm. We're going to disassemble. I forget, it's a 2612.1. That's Poljot alarm. This is the one we talked about earlier. So I'm going to get the movement out of the case. Pretty straightforward. It has, as you can see, two winding stems, one for the alarm, one for the mainspring. And it's just a matter of pushing on the button. And there's one stem, and here's the other. That comes right out. They're a little different on that end, on the ends, obviously. They're different parts. So let's get this. I'm going to flip that over, and we're going to take the hands off. And that's straightforward stuff, I'm sure, as far as removal. Nothing extraordinary, I don't think. If it is, wow, we got a unique watch. However, I thought I had everything lined up so I can take everything apart, but I can't find, oh jeez, hand removers are right in front of me. Genius. It's been one of those days. Okay. I gotta zoom out. I don't know if this is going to come up. It may or may not. Second hand, pretty straightforward. I'm getting a lot of shadows from the lighting here. Okay, minute hand. Now the hour hand. And we're going to take a close look at the alarm hand. That might be a little tight to the case to get anything under. It's a little tight. So let's do I have little thin bladed screwdrivers. We're going to walk that off manually. Well, of course manually, but I'm saying not without a designated tool, because we do want to protect that dial. The dial's kind of nice. Let's see. Do I want that one or do I want this one? Here's a thinner blade. We're in the shot. Okay. Just making sure. I don't know how long this is going to take to get the entire movement apart, but we are in no hurry. At least I'm not. I hope nobody else is. Come on. It's a tight one. It's being a little stubborn. Oh geez, here comes the light. Well, maybe the light will help. I think it's lifted up enough I can get the regular hand removers off, or on there to get that off. Okay, gotta open that up a bit. And nice bright sunshine coming. It's about time. Okay, there you have it. Looks like a little bit of the red paint has rubbed off. I think that's pretty much unavoidable at this time. Alright, hands are off. That's a nice looking dial. It's very, very pretty dial. So this has an outer ring on it that's held in by a couple of screws. And I'm not going to try to rush through things today. We're just going to take it easy. And I don't know. I don't always like to rush things. It doesn't always work out for me, thinking I'm going to do any faster. So let's get a focused shot here. Here's our screws holding that in place. We're going to take one of them out and leave the other one loose. That should be an acceptable way to get that ring off. Look at that. And it was. Okay. Here's our ring. Just comes right off. No problem there. Dial feet. What's holding the dial on? Okay. Straightforward stuff. There's our dial foot screw. And we get a look at the inside of this. See what's doing. Okay. There's one screw. And here's the other one. Right in there. Looks like it's going to need a little influencing here and there to get that out. That's okay. We have patience. All right. Here's the underside of that dial. And it looks like the numbers are applied, the numbers and the indices are applied, and then on the back side they are glued in place. You can see the little things of glue right there. Interesting. How interesting? I don't know. Okay, I gotta pull back here a little, people. We've got quite a bit going on here. We've got two winding stems, two sets of keyless works. We have this plate right here with a couple of fingers. Probably connected with this. I've never done one of these before, so this is all new to me. We've got, like I said, keyless works in here. We have keyless works here. We should probably put the stems back in so we don't lose those parts, and then we'll get some parts, some things taken apart here. It's a movable lever over here. We have a spring down here. Yeah, let's bring it in the shot. There's a spring right there. So, how do we tackle this? Well, first thing, let's put the winding stems back in. I think that's going to be the first. That way we have everything in place. And so none of those gears are going to pop out on us. I'm probably out of the shot. I'm just having a look here. So I can get things installed. I am definitely out of the shot. Here's a shot. I'm just putting our stem back in. That's all. Put the stem in. I gotta depress that button a bit to get that. Alright, let's put that in the movement holder. I might have to close the curtains with this bright sunlight. It's brutal. It's playing havoc with the video here. Okay. Okay, come on. Are we going in or not? That one's in. I'm on the wrong one. I already put that one in, dummy. See? Genius today. Ah, come on. Alright, that makes life a lot easier. Now we have our two stems in. And we're already 11 minutes into this thing. What's that tell you? Tells you I am going to take my time. So, let's take a look at, well, here's the main winding stem. This is the stem for the main barrel, main spring. The main spring. Straightforward, nothing spectacular. Looks like that'll just come right apart, no problem. But if you look over here, this is our keyless works for winding the mainspring for the alarm and setting the alarm. And you can see there's a lever here with a spring. We have a spring here. Let's get in the shot, dummy. And we have a little part here that actuates that. You can see how that works. This lever, you can see, goes all the way up to the side up there. That one, how that pivots, and that's loaded up by that spring. I think it's just a matter of taking everything off piece by piece by piece and remembering where it all goes. Shouldn't be that hard. It's not like we don't have video proof of it. Holding on to this in the movement holder is a little funky. Maybe we should take some parts out first. Let's do that. Let's start on this side, because we're going to break this down into a couple of parts. And obviously the one part that I like to get out first, let's come back here, is going to be the main, or the hairspring and the shock jewel spring and the jewels themselves. I'm going to put a piece of Rodico on that to make sure it doesn't take off on me. Okay. I thought it would stick to it. There it goes. It did, finally. We're not focused. Here's our balance jewel and capstone. Alright. I'm going to just double check some parts here. Making sure I got everything in place. Okay. Just organizing my parts tray, don't mind me. Okay, I wasn't planning on doing this tonight, but the wife had to go out for a conference. I'm not going anywhere, so why not? So let's take that balance out. The screws on this are a lot smaller than what I'm used to with other movements. Not that it's a bad thing, they're just different. Our epoxy is still holding up. I've had this on the time grapher ticking away. Not great time, but still it's working. The epoxy hasn't let go. Everything seems pretty normal. Okay, let's take that center bridge out. Again, I don't know the name of these parts. Doesn't matter. If you look at that screw, that's a fairly long head, fairly long threads. Nothing I've ever seen before. Not that that's a bad thing, but it's a fairly tall bridge. Look at that. That's a tall bugger. This is, I'm assuming, second-hand pinion. Okay. Don't know what that is, but it's a wheel. Doesn't matter. Okay. Let's take the pallet fork out. This is the screw that I was talking about that's very discolored. I don't know if that's if it's just dirt or what, but it's different than all the other screws. Another indication that somebody's been in this doing something with it. Here's something interesting on the pallet fork. I don't know if that's coming in with the bad lighting. That jewel on the right doesn't have the typical varnish to it. Let's see, on the back side. We can tinker with that later. That's just something I wanted to notice, or wanted you to see. Something's different there. We'll worry about that later. Let's get this thing apart before we run out of time. Okay. The escape wheel should come out, and it does. That's a good thing. Let's get that bridge apart and its corresponding parts. There's the mainspring ratchet wheel. I already let the mainspring down. Here's the click spring. Let's get that out of there before it takes a dive. Very similar to the 3133 click. Okay, we have this wheel, which I believe is installed upside down, and it's a lefty, so we're going to tighten it to loosen it. That looks to me, and it's cosmetic. This side of the wheel looks better, so we'll put that in the other way when we're going together. This should have a ring on it. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know if that ring's going to come off or not. There's a lot of discoloration on that. It's very dark. Don't know what that is. So another indication that this has been apart at one time. Let's get this guy out of here. If we ever get lost, we could always go back to the video. That's what's nice about recording everything. You know where it all is. That, I'm assuming, is connected to the cannon pinion. That wheel right there is connected to the cannon pinion, I'm assuming, because it did not want to come out. So let's get this bridge off. This is a first for me. Okay. Now look at that. The barrel decided to come with it. That's okay. Probably an indication of some grease that's on there. Grease isn't a bad thing, but too much grease might be a problem. So we'll leave that in there for now. Here's our release button for the keyless, for the stem. So let's come around to this side. We have a mechanism here that will get tripped and will make that hammer move back and forth, allowing the buzzing sound. Let's see. Let's take this off. Might need another tray. Okay. It's alright, we got one. 23 minutes in. Alright, we're going to break this up. We're definitely going to break this up. I'm not in the shot too much either. Okay. Same thing. Second click. And I just took a little dive. That's okay. There's a lot of grease, dirt buildup in here. It's not a good sign when there's that much. A definite indication that it needs a service. Okay, this bridge is held in by 2 screws. Okay. Are we in the shot? We are. Everything's straightforward so far. Those 2 jewel pieces are evident there. Looks like we have some kind of star wheel. There's a shot of that. And the hammer. The hammer is jeweled. And it looks like we have a tripping mechanism here in our main spring barrel. Oh, look at that. Look at that. It's got a squared arbor here, and on the other side another squared arbor that mates up with this wheel. Look at that. One for setting the alarm, one for winding the alarm. And quite a bit of oil on that. Look how shiny that is. There's quite a bit of oil. See that? That might be a bit much. So, for now, we're going to stop this, and we're going to continue with the next one on the other side, because this is getting rather lengthy. So, stay tuned.